Super Talk 99.7 WTN, fresh off the, I'll say it, the worst nincompoops in the news in the history of the Matt Murphy Radio Show just happened on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It was pretty bad, and all we can do is suck it up. We can figure it out. Nobody won. The people lost. I mean, that's the general consensus, is that the nincompoops are us. The people were the big losers today, and all we can do is commit to you as a group. Look, this is not Ken Weaver's day job. He's delivering the real news. So Ken Weaver is automatically forgiven. I mean, he's a delight and a highlight on a day-to-day basis. I truly blame Jackson and Cameron.
That's fair. Except for the death you brought to the table. But other than
as
that,
the person who really drove it into the ground.
Should I tell everyone what happened?
Yes.
Yeah, you should.
So I had a story, and I have a source. You know my source, where many of my stories come from.
Fark.
Don't give away our sources. What are you doing over there? And I was ready to click on a story, and I clicked on the wrong story, and it was my turn. And it was the story beneath the story I wanted to go to, and it was the death story. And so I just kind of went with it. And I thought there'd be a way to spin it.
Here's something funny.
And there wasn't. It was just a guy who stabbed his wife 25 times. That was my nincompoop today.
Yeah. This is the killer for a lot of the Florida man stories, is I'm like,
he killed somebody. And that's a big fail. That's a big fail on my part.
Well, I failed earlier this week, too, or last week.
No,
with that one.
Ken, you are a delight. You're a highlight of nincompoops in the news, and I don't think anyone's faulting you for today's failures. I think you gave it your best. You tried to say you were the guy, the boat was sinking, and you gave yourself up to try to save the rest of us to no avail.
So we were all in a boat.
Don't let go, Ken. Don't let go.
What'd he say? I didn't have my headphones on.
He said, "Don't let go." We were all on a big boat, and then the boat sank.
Now Matt took an RPG to the boat,
and Ken was there. He was lying on like a piece of wood, and we were all hanging on the wood, floating, and it was really, really cold. And we were asking him, "Hey, Ken, can you scooch over and give us a little piece of that wood?" And instead of Ken telling the rest of us to go pound sand, he tried to let us up on the wood, and we all died.
We did.
And that is the end of
no
Titanic.
Survivor.
Yeah. Jackson hadn't seen that movie.
I haven't.
How does it end? How does it end?
Boat sinks, Jackson. Spoiler alert. A lot of people dead. Spoiler.
Was there a mechanical failure that called it? It didn't hit anything, did it?
And by the way, the end of that movie, that you know what, and I'd like to call her the name that I really want to call her. You know what? Why are you throwing that multi-gajillion dollar diamond over that's not going to bring your beloved Jack back, you moron.
It's a symbol.
Symbol of losing a lot of money.
I mean, she's the real villain in that story, by the way.
I think that is fair, but she was also really old, so she's about to die anyway. Can't take it with you.
Blunk. I'd throw her overboard.
She probably hated her grandkids. It's really what it was about.
Well, I mean,
I'd have grabbed me a beer and listened to those three fellas playing the violin.
That's what Ken was doing during Nincompoops. He was just hanging out, watching us sink it.
Yeah, well, we sunk the boat. There's no question about that. Poor Ken, he's playing a nice little tune. It's been an honor playing with you gentlemen tonight. There's no real evidence of that happening, by the way, but whatever. I mean, I don't want to be Danny Downer, but no. There's like one report of some music on board, but I mean, really, there was just a lot of screaming.
Bringing more death to the show.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Just a ray of sunshine, Matt Murphy today. Matt played Nincompoops like Alabama defends the run.
That was a time in life,
did you see the Missouri game? We clearly defended the run.
Held that dude to like 20 yards, I think.
Right.
It was Missouri.
Refs won the game for us.
Yes, they did.
By the way, I don't know how the refs managed to help Georgia hold Auburn to 20 total yards in the second half of the game, but apparently the refs.
The Kirby Smart clap is great. It's not real loud. I'm clapping.
What?
Oh.
You can't hear it. It's the silent clap. Looks like a T.
Just telling you. That's how we clap in Georgia. Y'all just don't get it.
Comes from Warner Robins. It's where that originated.
Just don't understand it. While we're having a little fun, before we get to telephone calls, We want to. Well, I don't. Actually, I'm not set up to do it. I'll do it later. We'll take telephone calls next because I want to talk about our movies. We finally watched our movies. I gave Jackson yet another classic.
Yeah.
And he gave me trash. Again.
It was not trash.
It was kind of trash.
What was it?
It's a good movie.
It was Scream 3. Oh.
Well, if you're at a garbage worker convention, you got a lot of that.
I think it would have been less trash had I actually watched. And in Jackson's defense, he asked me if I'd seen Scream, and I told him that I had.
Because I would have picked that one, because that's the best one.
And I don't think that I have, because I think I've just picked up on the basic concept of the movie, and that was it. Because I get into the movie and I'm like, no, I don't know what the hell's going on. I assumed that David Arquette was the police officer or whatever. I really didn't know what was going on in the film. Had no idea. But they were making a film about the film that I supposedly had already seen, and it was just a lot of trash. And then it was just a guy stabbing a lot of people in a funny mask. Meanwhile, I give Jackson a movie that won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Director at the Oscars. One of the best known and most lauded films in the last 40 years of cinema. That's what he gets to watch in the form of Silence of the Lambs. In the meantime, I mean, and I get Scream 3, Ken. I get Scream 3. He gets Silence of the Lambs, I get Scream 3. And the first thing Jackson said to me, what'd you say, Jackson? First thing he said to me.
I gave you another mid-movie, and you gave me a absolute heater.
Just trying to do the best I can, man.
Clarice.
You know what you look like to me with your good bag and your cheap shoes. Anyway, I used to do the whole
How many
scene.
times do you have to see a movie before you quote it?
Once.
Really? I can't quote a movie until I've seen it twice, 2 or 3 times.
Come on, you got something from Scream 3. I know it.
Hey, want to hear a scary story?
That was the big.
There you go, Brother Jackson.
I've seen Scream 3 like 100 times, Ken.
That was the big thing. That was the big thing in Scream 3, right? He had a voice box. He was
Do you
using
like scary movies? Yeah, Scream 3 had a voice box he was imitating.
And so he was confusing people because they thought he was the.
It's a good film.
I was a little disappointed because I was hoping that there would be some boobies.
Scream doesn't have any. I've seen the whole series. Can confirm. Not a one.
We're old enough to have nostalgia for Skinamax.
I mean, have you seen any of the Screams?
I don't know. Probably not.
Okay, so if you watch it, it really, really feels like it's a movie where somebody's going to get naked and get in a shower.
And they do not.
And they do not. Ever.
You should make Jackson watch She's All That.
Is that with Amanda Bynes?
Yeah, I don't remember. I
don't
remember
think I've
Is that
seen
from like
She's All
2000?
That.
Yeah. It's the girl on the soccer team,
you know
right?
what? Hey, Jackson, you ever seen Porky's?
Yes, I've seen that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you?
I don't
No.
Give you a night to remember. Jennifer's next. Probably doesn't want to be any part of this radio show at this point, and I don't blame her.
Sorry.
But Jennifer, apologies all around, Jennifer.
Oh, it's all good.
How are you?
I love your show.
Well, thank
I'll
you.
be a part of your shenanigans any day.
Well, I'm glad.
Shenanigans.
Thank you.
Yes. No, I actually was calling about Cameron's hermit crab, Jeff.
Yeah.
He may not be dead. You would know because, obviously, the smell.
Right.
He might be molting. And I know way too much about hermit crabs, more than we actually want to know, because our daughter, too, wanted them. And so we actually have 3, but they are 6 years old.
Yeah.
So they are high-maintenance animals, let me tell you.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
I know.
Jennifer, can I? They're high maintenance. They're called hermit crabs.
They want to be left alone.
I would never have believed it either. And then the further research we went, it was like, whoa, boy, I can't even believe what we got ourselves into. We even have what we call a crab attach. We're all in. We're going to keep it as long as we can. And actually, the longest living crab is still alive today. He's like in his 20s. He's in a retirement home with his owner. His name is Jonathan. You'll have to look it up. It's hysterical.
Jonathan. Okay.
Jonathan. And then Crab Central Station. I'm not trying to plug anybody, but they are on YouTube and they have really good information for crab owners.
All I know,
a lot of people just think,
I looked at my counter and there was hermit crab water.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bottle of water
for hermit
crabs.
But listen, you don't need all that.
Good.
They just need some salt water, and they actually breathe with gills, so they need water all the time. That's their number one thing. I had no clue about this. So I hope Jeff will do well.
Me too.
I hope he's just molting.
Yeah, he doesn't
have
stink.
One, right?
Yeah, he doesn't stink.
Mm-hmm.
He just so that's good. He may not be dead, but he's very
get
shy
rid of the
right
hermit
now.
crab. Yes, get rid of the hermit crab food. Give him real food, and he'll come out of his shell. Not literally, but he'll come out.
Like what's real food for a hermit crab?
Yeah.
Okay, they love apples or everything that we eat, vegetables, fruits.
We did blueberries and apples, and we're hoping. Okay.
Yes. Oh, all kinds. Peppers. There's a whole list on a Hermit Crab Association. I'm telling you, I know way too much, but I wanted to have these things thrive,
I may need to join an association for people that care for these things. It's a shell spider as far as I'm concerned. I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, they love climbing. They love digging. So if you have the coconut for them to dig in, the fiber, they'll just love you for life.
And I want the love of a hermit crab.
Can we just go ahead and call it the AHCOA, the Association of Hermit Crab Owners of America?
Right.
Okay, so Jennifer, I looked it up. You ready? This is so good. Jonathan the hermit crab, also known as Jonathan Livingston Crab, was a famous pet hermit crab who lived with his owner Carol Ann Ormeez for blank years. I'm going to get you guys to guess. Before his death in February of 2021, he was widely recognized as one of the oldest pet hermit crabs and gained a notoriety for his long lifespan, which is uncommon for captive hermit crabs. All right. Jennifer, you don't get a guess, obviously. Any of you fellas want to throw out a wag? That would be a wild blank guess as to how old Jonathan was when he died.
56.
Old as hell.
24.
45 and a half.
I win.
What?
Ken Weaver, you win. We don't play Price's Right rules. Congratulations.
Yay!
There you go. 45 and a half.
Wow.
That's an old hermit crab.
Yeah, but
we're going for it.
The level of care necessary for these things. We have a bearded dragon, which is just like a rock lizard. Like you can throw this thing across the room and it'll skitter. It'll sit on it doesn't care. It doesn't need anything. It's the most wonderful pet in the world. Name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Wonderful.
But the hermit crab, Jeff, seems like he could be a little bit fussy.
And by the way, I'm not responding to any of the people on the super text line that is asking if Jennifer's admitting that she has crabs. Obviously, she's admitted that she's had crabs.
She does.
I did. Three of them. 6 years old.
6 years old?
They're 6. Yes.
Oh, so this is like a lifelong commitment. It's like owning a parrot.
So
I'm going for Jonathan 45. Yes.
Do your kids get to take them with them, or are you the eternal caretaker?
I'm pretty much the only caretaker, but, now that we know what they thrive on, which is actually food, sardines, salmon, all the things, that's what gets them out. Oh, yeah. They'll eat whatever you're eating, and they will be very active. They're active at night. Mm-hmm.
If Jeff shows up at my dinner table to eat with us, I'm going to be concerned, but that's the type of thing that happens at my house.
I love it.
Well,
that's good. Just give them lots of water and lots of food, and throw away the hermit crab food. That is nothing but cake.
If I tell my boys that it's cake, then they may eat it.
Cake. Jennifer, I say this based on my performance today. If we're back tomorrow, call us again, please.
I will.
Call us again. Thank you for your call. I'm just ill enough where I'm sitting here watching a video of Jonathan the hermit crab. They put him on television when he was 41 years old.
Yeah.
And he looks very cute, and he's playing with this lady.
But what other form of entertainment brings you all this?
I mean, you're not getting this anywhere else, and there's a good reason for that.
We are going to be fired.
It's been somebody just wrote in and said, and I thought Chris Hand's jokes were the worst thing I would hear on this radio station today. Matt Murphy said, hold my beer. Damn right. We'll be back in a moment. Thank you. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 27 after the hour. A lot of, I gave you the look. You saw the look, didn't you?
It wasn't gradual.
He knows what I like and what I don't like. And I don't know
that
what
was
he's
just
doing
to mess
in
with you.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing in there. Oh, that's good. Hurt the show to mess with me. That's
Actually, I lied. My finger just slipped.
Uh-huh. A lot of comments about our hermit crab talk. We have delved into a hermit crab discussion unlike any other hermit crab discussion on radio today.
The likes of which nobody's ever heard.
5131, I think, speaks for all of us when he says, guys, I stopped at a business, got out of my truck, walked across a parking lot to another store. I bought a pack of cigarettes. I walked all the way back across this fair-sized parking lot, got back into my truck, and y'all are still talking about hermit crabs.
Yeah.
To which I said, I am so sorry.
Specifically, Jeff and Jonathan.
I am insanely sorry. Also, another commentator wants to know where hermit crabs buy blueberries in the wild, or where they get their blueberries in the wild. I think that might be an exotic fruit for a hermit crab.
All I know is that if you got a 6-year-old hermit crab that's eating salmon with you at dinner, wow, that is a lucky hermit crab.
That hermit crab is living the life.
Right. That is like the Jeff Bezos of hermit crabs.
I mean, what would a hermit crab's natural predator be? I mean, other crab,
they just live a sad life. They're just sort of scavengers that are like running from shell to shell, trying not to get eaten while they're out, and eating trash at the bottom of the ocean. Like, when we saw them, obviously on vacation, they just hang out at the bottom.
They're like the bums of the ocean.
Yes,
like
kind of like the BAMA fans of the ocean.
Homeless.
Oh, geez, now you're forcing it,
of
Jackson.
the ocean.
Yes.
Just find any cardboard box they can find.
Yeah, they got to be scavenged. Listen, can you imagine any animal being caught and consumed by a hermit crab? They're slow. They're dragging shells on their butts, and it's just not a great life.
What if they can't find a shell? They're doomed.
They just die.
Yeah.
This is like, but imagine it's like us. Our clothes are getting a little tight. We just kind of upgrade. If their clothes get a little tight, they die.
Yeah.
Well, or they upgrade and then they just keep getting fatter.
Yeah.
Well, you're never too fat if you just keep buying new clothes.
You got to keep finding new shells, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
And Joshua writes in and says, and I think Joshua speaks for probably 80% of the audience, even after saying you're sorry for talking about hermit crabs, you're still talking about hermit crabs.
Yeah.
I think I just like saying hermit crabs.
It's weird.
It is weird, yeah. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show for another 30 minutes or so, or a little bit less. We'll get to your telephone calls momentarily. Believe it or not, there are folks that are waiting on hold. They're not there to talk about hermit crabs, at least to my knowledge. I do have a couple of pieces of audio and video that I want to share with you. One, and I'll get Cameron Smith's opinion on this as he sits in with us, as he's apt to do on these Wednesdays. This was from oral arguments earlier today at the United States Supreme Court. And I want you to listen to Ketanji Brown Jackson. Am I saying that right? Yeah, that's right.
Ketanji
Brown Jackson. They are debating voting rights and the Voting Rights Act and aspects of the Voting Rights Act. And the suggestion is that the South, which is mostly impacted by certain aspects of the Voting Rights Act, has repaired some of the sins of the past to the point that they don't need what they consider to be extreme federal oversight of their voting practices any longer. And the suggestion has been made, and I think it was Shelby versus Holder in Shelby County versus Holder in Alabama, where the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Shelby County that they should not be held to a different standard than any other state because the Voting Rights Act held the South to a different standard than it did other states, and Shelby County's like, that's not right. And they won that argument. Well, now it's back before the United States Supreme Court. I just want you to listen as Ketanji Brown Jackson describes voting rights, particularly voting rights of minorities.
I guess I'm thinking of it, of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan. We say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open.
Okay, so Ketanji Brown Jackson is comparing
race to disability.
Race to disability.
Yes.
Any thoughts on that comparison?
I would not have made that argument because I think the issue that she sees coming down the tracks is that the Voting Rights Act remedy for past discrimination is present discrimination.
Right.
It is that would be akin to her with her disability argument saying the remedy for past discrimination of this class is that we are presently going to discriminate against able-bodied people. And that's not really how the Americans with Disabilities Act works.
Well, and her suggestion is that there is some sort of systemic program or process in place that makes it more difficult for African-American people to vote than white people.
Which is not true.
Which is not true. So, I mean, because if I use her comparison, I understand there are plenty of buildings where if you were in a wheelchair, you could not gain access to that building.
Right.
And the Americans with Disabilities Act said, no, you can't do that anymore. You have to make sure that they can get in the same building that other people can get into. That's clear, right?
Right.
If you can walk, you can get into the building. If I can't get in the building. Where's the building that African-American people can't go vote in?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is one of the defects of the Voting Rights Act, and one of the things that I think will ultimately end it is that if you look even in a state like Tennessee, what you have to do to create a majority-minority district in a state like Tennessee is you have to overrepresent, you have to racially discriminate in one district to create a majority-minority district. I mean, that's what
you can't create people, so you have to subdivide people in a way that creates majority-minority districts.
Right. You are, by definition, your solution is racial discrimination.
Because if you do it over here, then obviously the rest of the people that you're leaving behind is a majority district.
Right, right. And so the representation of minority voters in one district, they take it away from that district, put it in another district, and so this district is less representational of the population than this one. And it is racial engineering to assure, literally, that in this case, in Tennessee, black voters can have a candidate of their choice in that one district.
And it's also so, and I hope that we're approaching a point where I can make an argument of how arrogantly presumptive it is for people like Ketanji Brown Jackson to argue that all black people are going to vote Democrat.
Yeah.
And by its very nature, you have to create these districts so as to assure them representation.
Well, and this is what people don't understand. Like, the reason that the districts were able to be gerrymandered around Nashville is because, even under the Voting Rights Act, there was not a single racial minority that had significant enough numbers that minority could create a single majority minority district here, right? So this is racial engineering designed to combat racial engineering. Like that, it's truly a mind bender, but that's what we're doing with the law.
Instead of suggesting, because it has become such a holy grail, it's a sacred cow within the law. Instead of suggesting, we're doing that instead of suggesting that maybe American society has grown beyond the need for the Voting Rights Act.
Yeah. And that is actually one of the arguments against it, is it is effective. Like, the civil rights era legislation actually created a more equal society.
It accomplished its goal.
Right.
And what's fascinating to me is, instead of congratulating ourselves collectively, recognizing that there are still pockets of racism and still pockets of discrimination, and obviously we need to deal with those as they pop up, instead of congratulating ourselves, that mission accomplished feeling, we double down and triple down because
Well, my deal with this has always been really simple. There is no problem, and it is perfectly constitutional to have a law that says you may not discriminate based on race when you're drawing maps, when you're saying at the polls. I would absolutely say, hey, you can't do that. But to go further than that and say, well, what we mean by this is you now have to create a majority-minority district under these threats. I mean, it gets really weird there. I'm not arguing that we shouldn't have laws that say, hey, if a county, for example, barred one race from the polls, they should absolutely be sued and prevented from doing that. But the idea that you must draw your maps this way proactively is a little more that to me is racial engineering that I don't support.
2805 writes in and says, she's an actual black woman, so I think she would know.
Know what?
I guess she knows about discrimination more than you do because you're a white guy.
Well, she's really smart when it comes to the law, and she's making an argument. I mean, she has a perspective on this. She's saying, I want this law to stand. And so I have to sort of set up arguments now for when these challenges come, because it's pretty clearly racial discrimination as a solution to racial discrimination.
Well, but what she also argues is that being born African American is being born with a disability. And if you're arguing that, then it is either genetic in its nature or it's systemic or it's a part of the system that has been created. And if you're arguing that it's a part of the system, then destroy that which creates the disability within the system instead of creating other barriers within the system.
But I think she genuinely does, like many liberals, look at the laws and structures and processes of the United States as inherently racist. And if you do that, then...
But where are they inherently racist? I know I'm asking you that you don't agree with the position necessarily.
The argument, I don't, but the argument is that because of the original sin of slavery and racism in the United States, therefore the institutions and structures that were created during those times are irretrievably tainted in perpetuity.
But what structures, I mean, so what, they want to recreate structures that better reflect or resemble equity.
Yeah.
Right? And those structures would resemble socialism.
You have a very different government structure in mind. And so this is what the left has done, is saying, well, this is corrupt, racist, and wrong, so we have to throw away everything and start anew. And I just don't agree with that.
So, and 2805 confirms that when he writes in, maybe we need to rewrite the Constitution and update it. What do you think? Well, I would love for someone like 2805 to tell me which part. Which part do you want to rewrite and update that would, in your opinion, repair the issue that we're talking about.
But that's the wrong question. The issue is you can do that.
Of course you can.
You can amend the Constitution
right now.
If you want to do this, it is difficult.
No, but it's a circular logical argument because they say, sadly, there are enough people that are racist.
Right. We're trapped.
We're trapped because they won't do that.
Right. And so what you're basically saying is my judgment should be a super judgment over that of the rest of the country. And I disagree with that.
And then you have this young lady who wants to make sure that you know this.
That is a decent resume, but go ahead.
Well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
I love this jab. Listen.
I like the some people say. Very nice, but go ahead.
I'm just speaking fact.
Yeah.
Worst politician ever.
Who says that? Who said that she was the most qualified? I think it was Tim Walz.
It may have been.
Her running mate, who is also equally a boob.
It's really kind of hilarious for me that she and the left, Gavin Newsom is doing this, are like adopting the language of Trump because Trump is very high on himself. I don't know if you've noticed this.
100%.
Total narcissist.
I'm the best. This is greatest. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it.
Right.
Who said?
Every day.
Yeah,
right. But the left, instead of, they've gotten over criticizing it because it's been so normalized, and now they're like, we're doing it. We're going to, and it just doesn't work. It actually, what's kind of
Gavin Newsom has, not to interrupt you, but Gavin Newsom has actively tried to be more like Trump, and it comes off so fake.
Right.
It's so fake.
Right, because Trump is authentically narcissistic about this stuff. That's his jam. It's who he is. Trying to mock him looks fake. And so, that's where all this stuff.
And so you're further separating the guy.
Right.
One of the reasons we forgive him.
Right.
For so much of the things that he does and says is because he's authentically himself. And you being inauthentic further separates and further highlights his authenticity.
Which is what I actually think Republicans, once Trump's gone, are going to have a huge problem with because they're not. J.D. Vance is not Donald Trump. He would love to be. He's not. Marco Rubio isn't. The rest of field has got to then create their own brand. And if you've gone full sold mode into I'm a Trump clone, the voters don't like that. They never have.
52 after the hour. There's Cameron Smith. My name's Matt Murphy. I have no idea if we'll be back for a moment, but if we are, come on back with us. All right, it's a 1-minute opportunity for Cameron Smith and Jackson Williams to face off. I feel like this is, unless I die tonight and you have to fill in for me tomorrow, might be the last opportunity for you and Jackson to talk a little smack to one another. Cameron, anything to say to Jay Willie?
No, there's no need to talk anymore. I think we got it covered.
Jackson, anything you would like to say to our good friend and colleague, Cameron Smith?
We'll let our pads do the talking. Go Big Orange.
Okay.
Well, that didn't nearly fill the minute like I hoped it would.
Well, we've already had hate week all week. There's only so much hate in my soul.
I guess so.
Half of my soul's taken up for Butch Jones' hate.
I feel like based on the fact that this thing is happening at Bryant-Denny Stadium, that there's some quiet confidence in Alabama fans, and there's almost a quiet resignation amongst Vol Nation. That is Matt Murphy's analysis.
Not true.
Not true?
Confident.
Confident. Final score?
28-24 Tennessee.
38-17 Alabama. Go big or go home.
I predict pain. 7 o'clock. Thank you for being with us. We're back tomorrow. Until then, have a great evening. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.